Okay, so let's be careful here. That ought to do it. Careful. Careful. Don't want to be like Homer. I'm not going to say dough on this. Needs another little cut there. Okay. That ought to do it. Star Fox 2 without the wrap. You can see it has a little Timewalk Games logo on there. They make sure to brand it their own way so that you know where it came from. There's other reproduction makers out there who do boxes along with the cartridges and labels and everything. I like the way Timewalk does it because it just feels like a complete set. Like almost as if you're going to EB Games back in the day or Toys R Us or something to buy a real game cartridge with everything. Perfect. Labels in place. It's beautiful. Star Fox 2 Super FX chip. I believe they use the Super FX 1 chip for this, even though it's a Super FX 2 game. Essentially, they're the same chip. They do the same function. I think the Super FX 1 chip runs at a few less megahertz than the Super FX 2 chip, because it's essentially another CPU inside here, because Super Nintendo's CPU is actually fairly weak. That's why we have blast processing commercials. Actually, it looks like it's hand cut. I find that hard to believe. They can't really be true. They must have. They have a pretty good operation going, and it's large, and they have a lot of customers and a lot to do, and I'd imagine they have a giant paper cutter. Maybe it wasn't working that day, but the label on the side seems a little bit not so smooth. And then over at the corner here, I don't know if you can see it, it's not quite rounded well. I'm sure that part has to be cut by hand. Maybe they're having a busy day or whatnot. So that one there. And inside here, what do we get? Manual. And also another poster. Let's take a look at this. Don't want to rush, don't want to break anything or crease anything. Star Fox 2. Perfect. The game that was completed by Nintendo, but they canceled. This game was completely finished, and Nintendo decided not to release it. It remained on their archives, and then eventually someone at Nintendo leaked out the ROM, got on the internet, and the rest is history. If you want to look up how reproduction carts are made, I know how they're done. I'm not the person to ask though. There's plenty of YouTube videos on it. Just search Super Nintendo reproduction cartridges. You'll find a lot of them. I know a recent YouTuber I started following, Pro-Titus or J-Toast. I learned a lot off of watching his videos, so very helpful. Thank you very much. So we have another manual, very colorful. Even says Timewalk at the front, you know where it is. Official Timewalk seal. Fox McCloud there. You even got the controls. A little bit of a story. If you play Star Fox 1, this isn't too much different. I'll admit, I've never finished these two games on an emulator because I always wanted to play the real thing. I look forward to playing the real thing for a long time, and then I was let down, and let's just say Nintendo pissed me off and I didn't want an imitation. I wanted a real one. So, let's put this back. Careful. And I'm going to set that down for now, let it breathe a bit. And now my bonus unboxing. I'm doing a little bit of searching for eBay and Craigslist for deals and whatnot. And in here, let's see what we got. Okay, how does this work? That. There. Okay, nothing else in the box. Some nice wrapping, because this is a used product. Nothing wrong with used, especially with this age of item. Got a little thank you note from the eBayer. And here we should have something that I lost a long time ago. Excellent. Doom on Super Nintendo. Quite possibly the worst version of Doom out there, but it has a lot of nostalgic value for me. I remember playing this game with a buddy of mine, and we didn't have computers then, and this was one of our only ways to play Doom. I'll admit, I had a 32X, and I had the 32X version of Doom, and that was a fairly good version, to be honest. The music was crap, everything else was great. The frame rate was good, the monsters were good, animations were good. Though I'll admit, Demon Strafe, which was pretty hilarious, actually made the game harder. So if you want to consider it, the 32X is more challenging than the computer version. Take that, computer nerd. But this one here, the upsides of the Super Nintendo one was more levels, way better music. Almost all 32 quality. The Super Nintendo sound chip was amazing. It was more of a symphony type sound chip, whereas the Genesis and 32X chip kind of lean towards heavy metal type sound, I guess, which should have worked for this, but something about the 32X, games made by other developers other than Sega were usually really shitty on it. Like if you play Knuckles Chaotix, Virtua Fighter, Virtua Racing, they're great. It really shows off what 32X can do. But that's not what this video is. Here's a little bonus, and I usually get complete in box. Got the cartridge here, and this should be something to go along with it. A little thank you letter, and we have the manual to go with it. It's hard to find instruction manuals, believe it or not. It's easier to find a box in the wild than it is the manual. I don't know what people did with their games back in the day, whether they used them as toilet paper or whatnot, but why would you throw away your box and manual? I've heard it said that dumb kids just thought they were packaging, like, I don't know, like a shoebox or something. They just threw it away. I always saw my games as a collector's thing. Give you an example here. Now we're going way back in time. Super Mario Brothers 3. It's complete in box. Had it since I was a kid. Always kept it in really good shape. I take good care of my games. So, to finish this little tidbit off, I got a box on eBay for Doom a little while ago, and I had figured, hey, maybe I can go by one of the local game stores and just pick up a cartridge for cheap. No one cares about this version. Surprisingly, it's very difficult to find this version of Doom. But I got it. There's that. And the manual can go in there. Get a little flyer and then a Nintendo Power subscription sheet, and you got a completed box. And this is fairly good condition. Alright, well, that ends my first video. Thank you for taking time to watch. Usual, what is it, like, comment, subscribe. It's all pretty new to me, so we'll see how things go. It's pretty late, better go to bed. Better finish my good night juice.